So I like visiting people I've never met and their dead. And visiting them is like the calmest thing of the week. And you might say, how, why, where this started. So I used to walk with a friend of mine a lot. Like every week we would go 3, 4 times a week we would walk. And he was always talking about like becoming like a nurse or like something in that sense, a coroner. He was kind of like fascinated by death, and he like whenever I would walk with him, he'd always say like, "Can we like hop over to the graveyard?" I was like, "Okay." Like I never really walked there alone because it has this sort of feeling to it. I can't really describe it. Maybe you have that too. You have this sort of feeling with it, and so it's not like I don't want to sound weird, but sounds like a horror fight or something, like that's what it used to be for me. So it's not like that anymore. I will explain. Um, because I got like a different mindset about it now. But like one of my first things, like really, like I mean, sure you would like visit it, but not as in like you do like you go for a walk and then you go there or something, right? Um, but it's actually if I would visit now, it's very peaceful. But back then I was kind of like, what the hell am I doing here, right? And his um his grandparents are like buried here. Like we have like a park and there's like a graveyard and it's like adjacent to like a church. We have like multiple churches in our village, but like this one is like the biggest one, like the biggest church. It's very old, but it's quite nice to look at. It has like mosaic window paint and stuff. Um anyway, so he would like start talking about it. I was like, what a setting to start talking about, like that he wants to become like coroner or something like that, right? Um, but I never really thought about like visiting it like by myself. I was like, if it's with my buddy, I guess like I could do him like a favor and something, and he would he would mainly visit people who recently got buried um to pay respects, but also like he would talk about like he would look at like the age and stuff and be like, like um they were like an uncle or like dad or whatever, right? So eventually he became very busy, so I started walking alone, and that's when I actually um with a random thought I was like, I want to go home, but then I had this sort of back end thought of like how would I experience it if I would like go there alone, right? And my mindset changed from like, because I am kind of like a horror geek, okay, but there are certain things that I find still kind of, like if it's real life stuff, it's kind of like, right? I like it more as if more as in like a fantastical like zombies and stuff, right? Like something that isn't or could be real, I guess. I like it more in that way. Um, but I was like, I'm curious, so I went there alone, and eventually I started to look at like the names and like the dates and stuff, and this thing that he said also came up in my head. I was like, this is somebody's uncle, aunt, brother, sister, grandma, grandpa. And these were all lives, right? All lives are like, like laying next to each other. And for me, it was more of a respectful way, right? To sit there and like just to not just like it became really peaceful for me, almost um like a calmness came over me. And I would like sit, you had like two benches that you could like sit on, right? So I would sit there, and occasionally I would see like an old man would like have like a rose with him. He would like visit his late wife's grave. And I'm not sure if he was praying or something because it was kind of far away, but he would like stand there for like 10 minutes. Sometimes he would also, because I saw this man multiple times, he would clean the grave, and it was really sweet. It was like such a respectful way of him still honoring his wife, like visiting her every week. I think it's not that I would always see him, but like in periods when I would go down like on a, I don't know, like on a Saturday midday or something, I would like go for a walk, and then I will end up there, and then I would all of a sudden see him again, and then he would like always be like talking to her, or like cleaning the grave, and it's so nice and respectful to see. So my mind kind of changed, you know. So whenever I would like visit there, I would be like looking at it from a different perspective, in a way of not just show my gratitude, but also to know that this person was once a person, you know, that was talking, eating, like going to work, went to school, had friends and stuff. Um, and to me, it's like, in a way, I also think about my own, as in, one day it will be me laying there, right, with like a tombstone on top of me. I know that's kind of weird, maybe, talk about what we're all mortal. We're not immortal. We're not vampires. And the mere fact that I can show my respect and people buried there that are old or new, you know, like there were some graves that are like early 19th century, right? And you can see also over the years like how that changed, you know, from like stone that's been carved out to like, you know, more, more nicer stones, right? More precision work. But those older ones really are like carved out with the hand. You can like see that. And regardless of the grave, young or old, it's just the mere fact that I'd walk there and like show my respect, you know, to anybody who's no longer among us. And kind of also changes your perspective, as in like life is short, and just like enjoy it, right? Just try to make the best out of it the way that you want to live your life in the best way possible, you know, like whatever makes you happy. You know, some people go on vacation, other people prefer to stay at home, or somebody who has like 3 weeks off from work, you know, instead of, I don't know, go and see the world, they prefer to play video game or watch movies or catch up on like TV shows. And like I said, it kind of like clicked in my head, where I was like, the appreciation of life, to have that different perspective of knowing that, you know, eventually it's over, and you just want to be able to look back at life, be like, yeah, I was satisfied or not, or like maybe I could have done this differently or that. Sure, we will always have that, regardless of how your life went. But for me, it's a sheer fact of respect, you know. Um, and something you would also see like I guess maybe someone who works for the government or something, a hire to like mow the lawn and stuff, or the other other miscellaneous things. But like I said, I went from like being sort of like terrified of it to a um perspective of respect and care, and appreciating things more. And that's kind of like the gist of this, is like it went from discomfort to peaceful, and it went from having all these horror thoughts, you know, to appreciation of looking at it from a different angle. I'm not sure if you ever walk among the tombstones. So, and I'm not quoting the movie with Liam Neeson. I know it's the same title, but it popped in my head that are you avoiding it, or are you also someone who goes there maybe to, I don't know, get some peace, or just to show your respect, or would you just go there maybe, you know, like I don't have like family members like laying here, so it's not like I have like a conscious thought of going there to visit them and then, you know, like leave. For me, it's literally just like walking around and looking at every single tombstone, you know, like um And sometimes I stand still, you know, and I look at the age. I'm like, Jesus, that's young, right? So I do have those moments. Um, but yeah, there's this sort of like cathartic thing about it. I guess I don't know really how to put it. Anyway, um, like life changed, and like he no longer lives here. He lives in a different city. But what we wanted to do was every summer we would want to visit graveyards that we have never been before, you know, to see like because it's like almost every graveyard. It's some not cemeteries, so like graveyards are like adjacent to churches. So to see like how well are they like sustaining, you know, like the graves, like are they doing it or not? It's usually just, you know, like the family members have to, you know, you know, like maintenance and obviously like clean it and stuff. Um, but that was basically our plan to visit multiple things. Um, but that never came to any fruition, unfortunately. And but now I haven't visited for a very long time, you know, because of like work and stuff. Um, but I do glance over it, or like I just pop in, you know, I just like that. But it's not that I'm avoiding it. I just don't really have nowadays. I don't really have the urge going anymore. Like my mind is in a different stratosphere, right? Like it's like on a different plane. I used to have more time, you know, I could just like pop in and out whenever I wanted to. Now I'm much older, so I don't even think about it that much. But so that was just like a period of my life where I would do that a lot, you know, like 2, 3 times a week, and then it just kind of like faded. But it doesn't mean that I lost respect for it. I actually gained more respect for the people who are no longer among us. It's just time restraints and that kinds of stuff. So I don't know about you. Maybe you have a weird hobby. Just to give you guys one really small hook here. Um, I had a teacher who was learning us how to draw, and I mean, this is really crazy, but he would sleep sometimes in the weekends on a graveyard, and he would look for bats that died, and he would like collect them, take them home, and then like he would draw them. I mean, the dude could draw. Don't get me wrong. Like fascinatingly, realistically drawing. It's just the mere fact that he could went there, right? Sleep even there, or at least that's. I'm not sure. I guess it's more hearsay at this point, but that's what he said, right? Not she said, he said that he would like sleep there, close to like a gravestone or something, and then like before that he would have, I don't know, collected them. I don't know how that works. I've never seen it that bad in my life, not like at any graveyard or whatsoever. So I found it a really weird story that he would tell us that, especially when you're a young kid. It's like, how old was I? 14 or something, 13, 14 years old, and he would tell us that while you're like drawing something or try to draw something, and he would say like, oh well, like I sleep at graveyard sometimes, you know, so I can collect bats. I was like, what the dude is a vampire or something. But anyway, it's just one of those things that I just wanted to mention. That's really bizarre to me. I've never done it, would never do that. I also think it's kind of disrespectful to sleep on a graveyard, you know. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, let me know yours in the comment section, and thanks for watching.